Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tarot Investigation with your girl Shannelblack. Now, we're still investigating the mysterious passing of Miss Jacqueline Smith, aka Jacky O. Now, as you know, yesterday they had her funeral. Her family had her funeral. They live streamed it live, and DC Young Fly came out. He spoke on her. Her father spoke, because I didn't know if he was still here or not, but clearly her father was there. His name is Keith Smith, and then we have John Whitfield. Now we're going to kind of look into the background of both of these men, kind of see, who they are, because I'm investigating, girl. I need to know, okay? And I want to know what they know about Jacqueline's disappearance. So the first thing, well, not disappearance, her, the passing. Now, first we have John Whitfield, which is Jacky O's significant other, partner. They were not legally married. They were not married up under the guise of God, okay, if you will, okay? So, but, a lot of people said that young DC has a true relationship with God, okay? That's not to be disputed, okay? Nobody can dispute someone's relationship with God, okay? That's more of an intimate relationship. It's a private, it can be private, it can be out loud, however. But sometimes we need to distinguish between a man of God and a man that uses the word of God to hide behind, okay? There's a difference, okay? And we just need to learn how to distinguish between the two. Now, a man of God, you can look at him and, sometimes you can't even look at him and tell he's a man of God, but you should, he should have appearance of a man that you can trust. A man of God also has a fruit that shows that he is a godly man, the fruit of his labor, okay? Which means his children, his family, the way he lives his life, the way he speak to you, the energy that he gives when he enters a room, okay? Those are some things that you can look for, when a man has God within him, okay? He truly believes in God, versus a man who hides behind God. He just used the word of God in every sentence, every chance he get, but yet his actions, his fruit do not show of a godly man, okay? So let's look, okay? No judgment, because only one person can judge, right? But, we still have to use our instincts. We still need to be able to use what God has given us to distinguish between who should be in our life and who should not be in our life, okay? Who should we trust our wounds to, if you will. Now, a man of God, yes, you definitely want to trust a man of God with, because you want a man of God to be the father of your children. Now, a man of God, okay, when we think of a man of God and a father, do you think of an unwed man or a man that's wed? A man that took honor in the woman that he's laying down having sexual relationship with, fornicating with, if you will? Will a man of God be fornicating with a woman for over almost a decade? Okay, will a man of God produce children after children after children without honoring their mother, and by honoring their mother and honoring their births, okay? So a man of God will lay up and have sexual encounters, okay, with a woman, and is that a man of God? I'm just asking y'all, let me know, okay? Because I know things have changed when it comes to morals, moral compasses. It's like as the years go by, a lot of things change, okay? As things do change, it does, but there's a foundation that should not change, okay? That's a foundation. When you say you are a person of God, that is some changes that just can't happen, okay? Now, he gave a speech at her memorial or her funeral. He said a couple of things about her, but mainly he was talking about himself, okay? Mainly he was talking about himself. He was putting on a comedy show. I would say he was more serious than I ever seen him before. He was saying some of the right words. Okay, I think a man who has to be here and be strong for his kids, he have to be strong. But a man that cries is not a man of weakness. A weak man, and a man of God would know that. Okay, a man of God should know that tears are here to wash away, to cleanse. Okay, that's why they're salty. That's why the tears are salty. That's salt water from your body to come to cleanse you. And if you're not cleansing yourself, that means you're holding on to something. You're holding on to something that should be washed away. So is that healthy? Okay, because eventually the things that you don't wash away, that you don't cleanse, they're going to stack up so much until they explode. Okay, and then you're not going to even know where they're coming from. You're not even going to know where are these issues coming from, because you let so many issues stack up without cleansing them away when they come. That's the point of grieving, or properly grieving. So when you improperly grieve, you hold on to that energy, and the energy builds up in you. Okay, and not in a good way. So you got to be able to receive and release energy as it comes, okay? Because when you don't, you know, like I said, you just create a mountain of issues that you're going to have to peel back, or an onion of issues that you're going to have to peel back. And you're going to cry all at once, and then you're going to be so stuck in your emotion, you're not going to even know where these tears are coming from, okay? You don't know if they're coming from 89, 1990, 2012. You don't know, because you didn't release them when you were supposed to, okay? Or they didn't come out when they should have. Sometimes there are blockages in you, but you have to understand when those blockages are there to clear them and free them away, so that you can grieve properly, okay? Because sometimes you have a mental block. That's why you can't grieve properly. Maybe you grew up and you weren't allowed to cry, so therefore it just don't feel comfortable to cry now, okay? So there's a blockage there. Because crying is definitely something that you should be able to do to cleanse yourself, to cleanse your soul, to cleanse your heart, to cleanse your eyes. The eyes are a window to the soul. And if the eyes are not clear, then that's an issue. Okay, you're not going to be able to see clearly. You're not going to be able to even comprehend clearly. Okay, so that's hence to why some people don't grieve when someone passes away or when someone leaves. Okay, but then some people may look at it differently. Again, to each his own. Okay, we all on our own journey, and sometimes a grieving is part of a journey sometimes, because we grieve. Okay, it's part of being a human. That don't make you weak. Okay, that don't make you a crybaby or whatever. It makes you someone that's able to cleanse themselves when needed. Okay, that's healthy. Okay, so we saw so far, you know, he didn't marry his queen. Okay, he said he lost a rib, but did you really lose a rib? Because you never officially made her your rib. Okay, she just produced little mini riblets for you. Okay, almost for free. Like, she just gave you mini riblets for you, and she passed away at the end because she wanted her body to get back to how it was before she had your little mini riblets. Okay, and I say kids out of kids, but he said his ribs, but then she produced 3 ribs for him without him claiming her as his own rib officially through the word of God, through because he's a godly man. Remember, he's a godly man. A godly man never did make his wife, make his baby mama official. Therefore, his kids are not official in the word of God. Okay, you know what they call them? They call them illegitimate kids. So, but this is what this man of God did. Okay, his actions. Again, his actions, not his words. That don't mean that he don't love his kids. He do love his kids, but his actions and his words are not matching. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, everybody was saying how he was looking at Jacky as he was closing the casket, and I noticed that myself. I noticed that how he was staring at her, like he literally did not take his eyes off of her. Okay. But that would be the first, because if you look back on all the vlogs, when did he ever look at her? When did he ever look at her like that, engage in her? Okay. He'll look over real fast, maybe. But for the vlogs I saw, it's like he was engaged with the kids. He was engaged with everybody else. Even when he praying, she usually is not the one that's next to him holding his hands. It's usually a couple of people down. Okay. He's praying with his eyes closed, so he's not looking at nobody. Okay, which is, I mean, I'm not saying nothing wrong or not right with that. Okay, you pray how you want to pray as long as you're praying. I do appreciate how he brings family together, but we just looking at, you know, like I said, praying is something that you're doing out loud. Okay, and praying can also be something you do intimately. He does that out loud, which means he's showing, that's a way of showing that he's a godly man by praying out loud. But also, when you're done praying and you have to walk life, are you walking what you just prayed about? Okay. And it's a lot of aspects to that. It's not just one walk. It's okay. Yeah, you can walk as a great father, but are you walking as a great man in all aspects of your life? Okay, and that includes being a partner to your person. Did you officially? And you know, some people say, "Oh, marriage is not everything." Well, if you want that blessing of God, that covenant of God, marriage and going is something that is part of that. I truly believe that. Okay. I believe you do receive a special kind of blessing when you do go and you say, okay, go before God and say that, you know, protect us, protect this union. Okay, it's a certain type of protection you get. So as you see, the protection wasn't there. Now, death does not mean that somebody is being punished, because we know that's part of life. But we like to, just like the fruit of your labor, we want to see that your fruit being good. The way you pass away is usually how you lived your life. Okay. And we will want, if we lived a good life, we want to have a good transition, okay? You don't want to live your life good and then leave the life, you know, leave this earth with 20 bullets or something like that. That's I don't think that match, okay? I think, okay, if you lived a good life, then your peaceful transition could be something where you're at home in peace and comfortable in your bed and you pass during your sleep, or, you know, something like that, versus, you know, something harsh. And as you see how we don't even know what Jacky passed away from, but we kind of left to assume, because they put her in the ground and they ain't told us nothing. So we just left to assume it was because of the complication from her surgery, because of vanity issues, because she could have been still here if she was comfortable in her appearance. Okay, and that's kind of hard to say, that someone is not here because of their appearance. It's like, huh? It's people here who don't have legs, arms, feet that are still here. And you need those things, and yet those people are here. Okay? So it's something to think about. So let's pull some cards real fast. Real fast, real quick. On who actually is DC. Okay? Who is he? Like, because this deck is full of divine cards. And a divine being, these cards should show up for him. You know? But, you know, like I said, we're not here to judge, baby. We just here to pull some cards and get a clear understanding. And just because that's what we hear on this earth. We're not here to wander through this life, be like, it is what it is. No. If that's what you're doing, you hustling backwards, okay? You living wrong, okay? So let's see. Divine Angels, if you could, please give me the best cards from this deck to describe who is the real John Whitfield, okay? Let's see who is the real John Whitfield via these cards. Okay, it seems like John is a lot of things. Okay, that's enough. Okay, well, we do see a servant of God here. So that's a good thing. That did come out. So we can confirm that. Okay. Now, he may be a servant of God and may not know his full way or his full path yet. Who knows? But we got a servant here. Okay. So it says, he delights in serving others with a free and loving heart. Okay, that is so good. Okay. Because his jokes don't sound loving and freeing. But then again, I guess jokes are not supposed to be loving and freeing. They're supposed to be harsh and mean and degrading, huh? I guess so. You know, because he said that he got a good spirit. But I'm like, DC, most of the time when we see you, you being mean to somebody else and you call it funny. Okay? But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not judging this man. But I'm just saying but I have the right to use my intuition and my discernment when it comes to a person, okay? But it says he's showing up as a servant, okay? Now, it says, but he also using the lack of money as an excuse to move forward with life. Using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward in life, okay? So, they're saying right now, they're saying that because of some type of lack of money, that's some type of excuse for him not to be able to move forward with life now as a servant. Next we have God. We have the God card here. It speaks about benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Okay, so there is an eternal force of God within him. The light attribute was what he shows. Now the shadow attributes is what he don't show. That remember, we got to balance out that light and that shadow so that we can show up as the godly figure. Because if we lead with one or the other, then it's unbalanced. Okay, we got to have a whole balance. It says cruelty, using power to control people. The despotism, okay, and cruelty, using power to control people. Now, ain't that his jokes? Okay, he said he using God to control people and be cruel. Okay, that's what that card say. Girl, what I gotta do to get y'all to be able to read these cards? I gotta get a little closer. Girl, whatever. Okay, but it also showed that he's a networker. Okay, it enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy, conveys information only for personal gains, and spreads false and fears. So it seems like he, in his network of people, or his network, okay, he has a network around him, and it says, it's all about unity and sharing information, awareness and empathy. That's what he shows. What he don't show is that he'll convey the information for personal gain and spread fear and falsehoods. Okay. Now remember, he's showing up as a servant of God, a networker. Servant, God, networker. Okay. He delights in serving people. Okay. He has compassion. He likes to share and has empathy. But then behind, because he'll use that empathy, like you can have empathy for somebody, but if you have empathy for them because they lost someone, then you turn around and throw that loss in their face as a cruelty joke. Okay. Are you really? Is that godly? Okay. So it's just like you got to balance out what you know, okay, and not use the information that you receive to hurt people later on. Okay. We also have him showing up as a warrior. Okay. He has strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroism, he's very stoic, and self-sacrifice is in conquering the ego. Okay. That's just light attributes, which means what we see. The shadow attributes speaks about trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. Again, that's a comedian for you. They be a warrior. Okay, they stand up because comedians are people who probably was picked on growing up. They had some type of issue growing up, so they become a warrior. Okay, so they have to stand up and have the skills and discipline and toughness of will. So that's a good thing. But then sometimes they end up kind of going too far, where they end up being the bully. But then they try to label it as something that's like, oh no, I'm not a bully, I'm a comedian. Or oh no, I'm not a bully, I'm the priest, or whatever. It's like, hold up. But it's like you trading your ethical principles for victory at any cost. At any cost. Okay? That means no matter what. Now, as a warrior wants to win at any cost, but are you trading your ethical principles for that? Even though it's indifferent to the sufferings inflicted on others. Okay, for your win. Because you feel like, I'm a servant of God. Okay, I'm a warrior. Well, you don't get the right to take your strengths and then overpower somebody now. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Balance out your shadow attributes. And again, the shadow attributes are the sides of people. That the light attributes is what the co-workers see. Okay, what the community sees. It's what maybe even the major family sees. But the shadow attributes is what your significant other sees, okay? Because you don't show that to your co-workers. You show that to your partner, somebody that's close to you. You show that to your children, whoever's in your household, whoever's in your intimate setting. So that means that the servant and the guide and stuff like that, you're giving it out to the community and stuff like that. But then when it comes home, it's like the pastor will come home and he depleted. He don't got nothing to give to his family. And it's like, you can't do that, sir. You can't do that. Okay, what you give out to the community, you still have to have enough to get out to your family. That's why your cup has to be overflowing for you to even go out there and call yourself a man of something. Your cup has to be overflowing, which means you got enough for yourself and you got enough to give to other people, but therefore you're not feeling depleted. okay, when you come out of this energy. That's why you got to balance it out. Next, we got this queen energy here for him. He shows up as somebody that radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others, okay? Which the queen also is all about appearance, okay? Now this queen right here sometimes give me transgender. I don't know why they draw this lady like that. Like, you couldn't draw her better than that. And then when the queen come out on a man, it definitely looks transgender. But it also speaks about shadow attributes. It says becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. Again, the second time controlling coming out. We got demanding here, showing up as a queen, which means very much in his feminine energy, very much in his emotions, okay? And so, and it falls up under the God complex, okay? So he the goddess, honey. He feel like he is the reason, you know, his children is all he need. His children, the children, yeah, they only need him, okay? They'll do just fine with him. Okay, next we got the Avenger, which speaks about the desires to balance the scales of justice. Okay, righteousness on behalf of society and oneness. But it also speaks about resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Okay, as an Avenger. Okay, so you're showing the best in Avenger. Okay, you're trying to balance out justice. And that's what you show people. You show people you're trying to balance out. You're a righteous man on behalf of society. But that shadow attributes speaks about resorting to violence in the name of cause. Okay, you said you slapped somebody because a good cause, but excuse me, did that person put their hands on you? Okay, you don't get the right to do that. But when this person got a God complex now, because sometimes it can go from you being godly to, oh, now you got a God complex, okay? Because now the whole family comes around you, okay? You lead the prayers. And that's a man of God. That's a man who's supposed to lead his family. But sometimes it can go overboard, okay, to the point that the ego leaks out, because the ego definitely showed up here, okay? Something about his ego. And that was in the light attributes about his ego. Okay, right here, sacrifice and conquering the ego. So in order to be the warrior, your light attribute says you need to conquer your ego, because if not, your shadow attributes talks about putting suffering on others, and you don't even know it. Okay, because you leading with that warrior like a soldier. A soldier can't come back home with that soldier mentality. Okay, he needs that soldier mentality when he goes to war, but when he comes back home, he cannot have that soldier mentality, because then he just pretty much weapon of mass destruction at home, because it's like any sight of noise, any type of anything, disrespect or anything that he feel like somebody's giving, he's ready to put on that soldier hat. And it's like, no, you don't do that to your wife and your children. Next, we got the Saboteur. It speaks about it highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. And that's a light attribute. There's some issues here. He's coming across as the Saboteur. The Saboteur to me seems like somebody that's kind of forceful, but it's like, but you're being forceful and don't know what you're pushing your way through, because you got your own fears. That's why you kind of bully your way through. But the shadow attribute speaks about induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Okay, so he got the ways of undermining others, but he's also shown up as an advocate. Inspires you to put compassion into action, so which means he's good with his words, honey. He can speak a good prayer. Okay, he gonna speak a good prayer. But I remember one time when he was doing prayer over Jacqueline when she was having a baby, and she was going through a whole she was going through a whole what do you call it? Girl, not me going blank, and I know what this is. It's not called a cramp up. Girl, contraction. Girl, not me struggling with that. She was having a whole contraction because he was so into his prayer, with his eyes closed. Okay, he didn't even stop to see that she was in pain. He just kept on praying with his long prayer. Okay, and instead of him stopping and saying, "God, please put his hands on the stomach," and then acknowledge that she was going through this contraction, and bring God into that contraction with her, kind of help. But it just seemed like he just kept his eyes closed, and she just had to go through that contraction silently. She didn't want to interrupt his prayer or anything like that. And I thought that was kind of selfish. But then at the same time, it can be kind of manipulative, because at the same time you can be like, but at least he was praying. And it's like, yes, he was praying, but it's like, don't be so selfish that you don't acknowledge the pain that your significant other is going through while she's in labor. Remember, she is in labor. She's in the hospital. Remember, she's in the ICU with you. You in the NICU. Okay, so acknowledge her. Get so much out of self. Okay, because God wouldn't want you to be doing a prayer and neglecting your significant other and your unborn baby. Do you think so? I don't think so. But let's think about this. Shadow attributes. It says embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Okay. So he's showing up as a servant of God, a networker, a saboteur, a warrior, a queen, avenger, and an advocate. All good cards if it's all balanced out. Okay, if it's all balanced out, I don't have a problem with, because you need to be the saboteur and the warrior to be the father. You got this queen element, which means you can be in touch with your emotions as long as you don't leave the shadow attributes. Okay, you got an avenger, which means you're a hero. Okay, you got the it's in you to protect. It's in you to protect. Okay, you got a servant. You're here to serve. You're not a selfish man initially. Okay, which means these light attributes could be the young DC fly, the little boy DC fly. But then sometimes we get into our egos as we get older and we become unbalanced. Okay, and that's our journey to balance out the light and the shadow. Okay, so where we at? 25 minutes. I'm gonna pull some real fast cards, real fast, to kind of give DC some advice. Okay, because the previous reading we kind of pulled and see how he felt about. So what advice can we give DC Divine Angels when it comes to Jacqueline? Okay, what advice can we give him when it came to Jacqueline? Okay, so the cards that we have here. Okay. There's a lot of cards here, and they don't want to turn over, so he may have a hard time expressing himself in a intimate way. Okay, and that's probably why he do so much in prayers. But it says chimpanzee. It says use both your intuition and your intellect to solve the problem and get answers to your questions. So he needs to use both his intuition and his intellect, okay, when it comes to solving problems, so that he can get the answers that he needs. We also have the boar here, the pig, okay, at the black pig, baby. It says face your problems head on, DC, with confidence and courage, and you will emerge victoriously. So there are some things that he needs to face on. There are some problems that he has, okay, so that he may be pig-headed about. And then when it comes to Jacqueline, he could also have been very powering with this chimpanzee, okay, that he wasn't using both his intuition and his intellect when it came to her. But also he needs to face any problems that he have head on, okay, and that he will win if he does that. Also, we have the falcon here, which speaks about act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without any type of hesitations or reservations. We got the weasel here. It says be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and your physical appearance, your physical feelings, what is happening inside and all around you. So right now he really needs to be like a weasel and move in silence. Okay, pay attention to what's going on around him. Observe with his eyes, okay, his ears, and his physical, to feel what is really going on. Because I don't think he's really feeling at this moment. He's probably going through the motions. You need to really feel what just happened, what just occurred. Okay, because it's one thing to think that, oh, okay, I could do this alone, but it's another thing to actually do it. Okay. Now, I know you got a family supporting and surrounding you, but what's going to happen if your money stops, your money dry up? Is that family still going to be around you, supporting you? Hopefully they will, okay? But, you know, it's easy for family to be around you when you so-called on top, and when you're doing great, when you're taking them to Disney World, you're paying for trips, you're doing that. Okay, family going to always be around. But now, you're going to really need your village, okay? You're going to really need your village, and will you feel this thing of this single fatherness, okay, now that Jacky is not here? Okay, But right now it says he needs to pay attention, and so he can feel what's really going on inside him and around him, because I don't think he's really recognizing what's going on. We got the condor. It says you're too enmeshed in the situation, so step back and see the bigger picture before making any decisions or taking any actions. So he moving forward with something, some type of opportunities. He very pig-headed, moving strong. But the cards are telling him, baby, you need to really face the problems that you're dealing with, because you're going to go into this situation. It's going to be bigger than what you expecting. You have not solved no problems that's eternal, and these problems going to be bigger. Okay, they're going to get bigger with your fame. If your fame blows up with these opportunities and you go in with this pig-headed energy, okay, or this chimpanzee energy, you're going to have some problems. So right now it's telling you to go within, to truly go within like this weasel, and be silent and pay attention to what's going on around you and inside of you, so that you can see, because right now you're so enmeshed in what's going on, you're not even really dealing with what's going on. Okay, and you don't need to take any actions right now, because any actions right now you may end up regretting later on with this queen. You between this queen and this avenger. Okay, your queen is gone. Okay, even though you may not have valued her like a true queen, but she's not here, and you avenging over here, which means you kind of going against, resorting to violence in the name of a cause, and it's out of balance right now, and you need to stop and take a seat, baby, and take a look, because we got this tiger here. It says you've been called upon to provide leadership, so trust that you're capable of doing so as an advocate. So it's saying he's calling to be an advocate here, but he needs to embrace the negative causes, because it seems like right now when he becomes this advocate and people start looking at him, when fame get too big, honey, he's gonna really be looking real silly. And it's saying that he needs to also, you know, you got to keep on going right now, baby. And this dog, okay, dog is loyalty. It says your loyalty and your faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. Okay, now this man of God with too many masters. Okay, you're supposed to only serve one God. Okay, but it says your loyalty and your faithfulness is misplaced at this time, DC. Okay, so yeah, he's speaking like a man of God, but is he walking like one? Okay, so it says that until he balances out his light and his shadow attributes, he's not going to properly be able to walk the walk of this man of God that is truly is his essence. It's the essence of him. But I think opportunity, fame, bullheadedness, okay, and him moving forward like this pig in the middle. And he's so enmeshed in what's going on outside of him, he's not really tapping into what's really going to him, and he's serving too many masters at this time. Okay, so it's going to get to the point that he's going to need to move in silence to even get out of this situation, because he's going to get in too deep. So that's going to be the reading for old DC Young Fly. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one, because I'm about to read on the daddy girl. This one went too long. Okay, so stay tuned for Daddy Dearest. Talk to you later, girl. Bye.